Hello and welcome to the Out of the Sandbox video guide to the Mobilia 5.0 Shopify theme homepage setup, now using new Shopify Sections. Today we're going to take a look at how you can go from a fresh upload of the Mobilia theme and customize it to look just like this Sydney sunglasses demo, which we are going to be using as our model. And during that process, we're going to take a look at the new Shopify Sections feature and see how you can put that to use for the customization of your own Mobilia 5.0 homepage. So first, let's take a look at what we're working with already on our Shopify admin panel. So here we are on the admin panel, and we already have products on the shop. So here we are with our product collection here. This is a sunglasses shop, so we have a bunch of sunglasses products with product descriptions, tags, images, prices, all of the data that you would expect to see with a product on the Shopify platform. Additionally, the products are also categorized into a collection or two, the few that we'll need for the homepage demo. If you needed any assistance on adding products and categorizing the products into collections on the Shopify platform, you can check out the Shopify documentation, and I'll post a link in the description of this video to help you out, but it's on the Shopify documentation that you will find all the resources you need to actually operate the admin panel and use the platform itself. So besides products and collections, if we go down here to online store, here are our themes, but we also have some blog posts here. So these blog posts have content, they have titles, images, and some of them have excerpts, and I'll show you why shortly. We have a couple of pages that we'll be using for the homepage content, and we'll take a look at those individually as they get added to the homepage. And we have some menus set up in navigation here. So again, all of this is part of the Shopify platform, so you can check out their documentation for any assistance. But I'm going to be coming back to the admin panel here and showing you why we have these menus set up as we do, and what involvement that has with the homepage setup. So now that we've taken a look at all of the things that are already on the platform, let's go back to this themes link here where we can see the themes on our store. Here's my completed version. But let's go from a fresh upload of the theme. So depending on how you've purchased your theme, if you've purchased it directly from out of the sandbox, you would have received an email with a download link for a zip file that contains the theme. If you purchase the theme through the Shopify theme store, I believe that the theme will be added to your admin panel in an unpublished state automatically. So here I am just uploading the theme, adding it to my themes panel. It's this version down here. I'm going to go ahead and publish it so that we can see the default appearance of the new Mobilia theme. So here it is, and we'll use this eye icon here to open up the preview in a new tab. So what you see here is the default appearance of the new Mobilia theme that uses Shopify Sections. So these are the various sections that are added by default. So let's flip back over to the admin panel here and jump into Customize Theme to start getting a handle on exactly what we can customize with this homepage. So here is the new Shopify Sections feature on the left, and it is showing the homepage sections because in the preview window on the right, we are currently on the homepage. If you were looking for the sections associated with the product page or with a collection page, you need to navigate to a collection or to a product to change what sections appear here on the left. So since we're playing with the homepage today, we'll just keep it here on the homepage so we see the homepage sections. But beside the sections here, we've got our general settings. So these are settings that in a sense apply to most aspects of the site. And this is where you're going to want to go to change any of your colors, any of your typefaces, and a slew of other global settings. Before we go in and touch any of the other settings, let's take a look at our theme styles here. So these used to be called presets. Now they are theme styles, and as you see, we have 4 theme styles. So theme styles are collections or bundles of typography and color background settings that all change at once. So we've got these various theme styles to choose from, and it may be a little bit difficult to get an idea of how this will look with your site once it's populated with images and with actual products. So I encourage you to come over here and take a look at the various out of the sandbox demos. So here's the Sydney sunglasses demo. This is the Milan tailors demo. the Napa vineyards. As you see, the colors and typefaces change. Tokyo Tea. Now these are all created with the new version of the theme using sections, so any of this is possible for you. But as you see the names Milan, Napa, Tokyo, Sydney, those correspond with these styles here. So since we are doing a version of the Sydney sunglasses shop, let's choose the Sydney theme style, change the style here, and now we're set up to start using the various other settings. So what that did is went into these colors and into these typography settings and changed them all at once to follow along with the demos that you see. Now I'd like to give you an overview of the actual sections available for the homepage. So back over to the Sections tab here. And to give you this overview, we can go down to Add Section. And here on the left, we see all of the sections available for the homepage. And as you select through these sections, you get a preview of the section here on the right before you actually add it to your settings. So here we've got blog posts as a possibility. We've got a collection list, which is a listing of collections, versus a featured collection, which is a listing of products. We have these featured promotion blocks. We have an image with text where you have an image on the left or right of a text section. Image with text overlay, which is like a banner. A slideshow, which is a slideshow of those types of banners. We have the featured product section where you can show individual products right on the homepage. We have the Instagram feed and the Twitter feed, which also has an area for some additional page content. We have a generic page content section to add any page that you'd like. A rich text and image section where an image can be placed above a section of text. And finally, the featured video section here, which will autoplay this video. So with that in mind, what I'd like to encourage you to do while configuring your homepage is a mixture of playing around with these various sections while also coming up with a sequence of sections that you'll be using as the design of your homepage. So as we take a look at our model here, being the Sydney sunglasses demo, you'll see that the homepage starts with a slideshow, is followed by those featured promo blocks, followed by this is a section of page content. Here is a image with text overlay, just with no text on it. This is a featured collection on the homepage. Here is a video section with a banner preview. Here is that Twitter section with some testimonial page content being displayed beside it, followed by a blog section, and the Instagram section before we get to the footer. So these are all sections available to you through the theme, and in a sense, the Out of the Sandbox team has selected a great sequence of these sections that tells the story of this product and engages the shopper to go ahead and click on the products and proceed to the product page. So with that in mind, we're going to be using the same model, but I would encourage you to come up with your own sequence of sections that works well with your selection of products and with the story you're trying to tell. So instead of trying to reconfigure all of these sections in the order that they are now, as you see, we can click and drag these sections around to have them appear in any order. But just to keep this clean and to sort of start from a blank slate here, I'm going to delete all of these sections except for the first slideshow, knowing that our demo is also starting with the slideshow section. So I've removed them all here, except for the slideshow, and let's jump into these various areas and see what settings are available to us. Starting with the header. So here we are at the header. The header and the footer are common elements to the entire site. Regardless of what page you're on, you will see the header and the footer. I'm going to start by uploading a logo associated with the Sydney sunglasses demo. It's right here. If you'd like, you can reduce the footprint of the logo here by changing the width. This cart icon here in the cart button can be changed to a bag or a basket instead. The search field here can be enabled and disabled. As you see, all of these changes update immediately in the preview window. Here is our selection of main menu. So I had just showed you those navigation settings. I'm just going to jump back into them using this handy link. So here's the menu that we have selected as the main menu, and this is where you would go to configure their destinations. So that is the menu that I've selected here. But as you see, some of these links create a dropdown, and in some cases even a two-tier dropdown. This is done. I'm going to switch back over to our navigation settings here. This is done by creating menus where the title of a menu matches the link name of the parent menu. So here is the main menu, parent menu, and we have a link called Shop. Well, we also have a menu called Shop, and that is what creates that first tier of dropdown. And that menu contains the sunglasses and cases links. Well, we also have a menu named after sunglasses here, which creates that second tier of dropdown. So it's all about just naming your menus and your links to match up in that way, to create the dropdown. We have the ability of adding a top bar menu, which appears up here by the search field, also configured through those navigation settings. We can enter a phone number here, and this is where it will appear, right beside those links. And that's an actual phone link, so if you're on a mobile device, it will indeed trigger the device to call the number. We can show the social media icons. Now, I will divert from these header settings just for a moment to show you that these social media icons here are linked up with the social media general settings. So you go down here to social media and the general settings. This is where you would enter all of your various social media URLs. And by including the URL here in the field, you will trigger the icon to appear in the header or in the footer here. All right, back to the section that we're working on, being the header. We've got the ability of increasing the padding from the top of the page for the navigation and for the logo, if we choose to do so. And this announcement message here will appear above the top bar menu. Free shipping forever. So this is our first time using this sort of text box here with the settings, but it has a couple of options. You can bold and you can italicize text. And whenever we start working with some stuff with multiple lines, I'll show you a little trick. You can create a link from that area there where we have the free shipping forever. If you had sort of a shipping info page, you could link to it just like that, creating a link out of that announcement. So we can go ahead and save our header the way that it is now, and then jump back to this master sections list. Instead of jumping into the sections yet, let's go down to the footer, where we already have one menu enabled. We've got the ability of enabling a second menu, and they appear here. We can add a content page to the footer. So if I've got a shipping info, so that will appear below the rest of the footer contents. You can enable and disable those social media icons, and you can make additions to the copyright text here, which will appear beside the regular copyright text. You've got this footer newsletter form that can be enabled and disabled. And then the credits here and payment icons. Now, I don't have any actual payment gateways set up, so the payment icons aren't appearing for me. But those areas can be enabled and disabled. While we are on the topic of the footer newsletter form, I'd like to show you another general setting associated with this section. So I'll jump back over to general settings here and to newsletter, where we've got the ability of enabling a first and last name field to appear above that newsletter sign-up. Looks good. All right, back into sections here. We've got our footer customized. We've got our header customized. Let's start and jump into the body of the homepage, starting with this slideshow. So here we are in the actual slideshow settings. We have a couple of options here, starting with our animation style, fade or slide, and then how the text appears, whether it fades in, up, or down. So you can play with those various animation styles. The slideshow can be constrained to the column framework, like you see here, or it can stretch the full width of the layout. The slideshow speed can be altered between these three options. And then below those general slideshow settings, we've got the actual slides themselves. And like the sections, they can be reordered by just clicking and dragging, and additional slides can be added by using this Add Image link. So let's jump into an actual slide and see what it looks like here. We've got suggestions for image sizes for your slides right up here. While we're on that topic, I'd also like to show you this new Out of the Sandbox resource. As you see, the new sections versions of the themes don't have any stock imagery, really. They have these default Shopify images. But if you were looking for the images that used to come bundled in with these themes, or looking for some placeholder images, I'm going to provide this link in the description. But here are some great placeholder images, whether you're looking for featured promo images, or for slideshow images, or video preview banners. They're all here and available for you to use, probably temporarily as you source your own images and get those ready for your shop. But I'm going to go ahead and choose my first slideshow image. I've got some slideshow images that I've pulled from the demos. So starting with this fella standing by a car. There he is. And we've got the headline showing up over top of him, but we can also add a subheading here. And that's what it looks like. Updates immediately. We can change the text position between left, center, and right, which looks something like that. And maybe to have it go to the right here. And we can even change the alignment of the text from left, center, and right. We can add a button link, which will add the button to the slide. And then below that, we choose where the link goes. So we can either enter a URL here, or we can select from our list of links, whether they be collections, products, pages, or blog posts. So that's how you go about configuring a slide. Behind the scenes here, I am going to go ahead and configure this second slide to match the demo, and I will be right back to show you the results. And we're back. As you see here, I have gone through those exact same settings with a second slide and configured these slides to match the Sydney Sunglasses demo. So let's move on to the next section that we can follow along with here, which would be a section of featured promos. So I'm going to jump back to the master sections list, go to add section, and choose the featured promotions section here. This is the default appearance. I'm going to go ahead and add it to the sequence of sections. So our first option here is to select how many promos are appearing per row. I'm going to choose 4 here. And as you see, a blank spot has been created because we only have 3 down here in our content area. I'm going to go ahead and add another promotion to fill in that space. Like the slideshow, the promotion grid can be constrained to the column framework, like you see here, or it can stretch the full width of the window. The text can either appear on hover on these featured promos, or they can appear below the featured promos, like this. We're going to have them appear on hover, and jump in to see, like the slides, these can be reordered by clicking and dragging. Let's take a look at the actual settings here. So we've got some recommendations for the image sizes. Those would be perfectly square images. We're going to use a different shape of image here for ours. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my first featured promo image, which looks a little something like this. And then it's easy enough to select the link destination for it, like a product, and then change the header here to whatever we'd like. That's how that appears. And then if you add some additional content text, it will appear just below that title. You can even add a link button as a call to action for your shoppers. So the alignment may look funny now, but as we replace each of these promos with an image of the same dimensions, this space here will clear up, and it will create a nice short featured promo section. So just like the slideshow here, I'm going to go ahead and start configuring these other 3 promos behind the scenes, and I'll be right back to show you what it looks like. And we're back. As you see here, we've gone through and configured each of those 4 featured promotions to match the demo, just by going through those exact same settings. So let's go ahead and add our next section here. We go to Add Section. And the next section in my design is a piece of page content. So this is the default appearance of that section. Go ahead and add it here. And then this is where we choose our content page. And I have created a content page that looks a little something like this. So we're going to save that in the progress here and see that it's got a section of text on the left and it's got an image on the right that actually appears to be something of a slideshow. So this is a bit of a more advanced section of page content. I'm going to show you what it looks like here on the Shopify admin panel. So here we are in our pages area of the admin panel, and I'm going to go to this homepage content page to show you. This preview window here is not an accurate representation of how this page will appear when it actually renders through the theme. But I wanted to show you that it's got some HTML markup that's based on dividing the sections of content using these column classes. And so I'm going to post a link in the description of some helpful articles that will direct you in creating interesting layouts using the column framework. And one of the sections of content within the column framework is an actual slideshow. So I believe we have a support article on how you can create a slideshow as well, the markup that is required to create your own slideshow as a piece of page content. So we've used both the column framework and the slideshow markup here to create this style of page. And then whenever it's loaded into the site, it looks something like this. And then that way you can have links within your page content, and you can have interesting features like this slideshow section here. I will mention, though, that there's a section that comes with the theme here, which is the image with text section, which looks a little something like this. I'm going to go ahead and add it so that you can see what the settings are. We're just going to have one of these appear for now. But what you can do is jump in here, and this wouldn't be the same sort of slideshow feature, but at least you'd still be able to add an image on the right, and then you can add your text here on the left without having to go in and do any HTML markup. Additionally, let me show you what's possible with this text box. So I've already showed you that you can bold and italicize text. If you were looking to render text onto the next line, you can use Shift-Enter and then start typing. But if you were looking to start a new paragraph, you can just use the Enter key, which will start a new paragraph, as you see here. So you have the ability of adding a link with a button to a section like that. But that's about it. So as much as you can create a similar layout, similar appearance, you can't add links to the actual content itself, different links, and you can't add a neat little slideshow like that. So this is why you'd want to use an enhanced section of page content instead of this type of image and text section that comes with a theme. So up to you which one of these you'd like to use. One of them is not quite as complex, but not quite as flexible. So we're going to go ahead and remove that section and follow along with the rest of our demo, where the next section is a featured collection. So we're going to go ahead and add a section, featured collection, the default appearance, add it. We can change the title of the section, and we can choose a collection. So I've created a collection, and I've only included the 3 products that I'd like to feature on the homepage in that collection. So my recommendation whenever you're featuring a collection on the homepage is to make a collection specifically for the homepage, so that you can curate which products appear on the homepage, and you can make sure that the number of products in the collection is divisible by the products per row setting here, so that you don't end up with any blank spaces. So obviously this would not be the optimal arrangement for this number of products, so that's why you can create a collection specifically for the homepage so that it looks just the way you'd like. If you've got a number of products in that collection, you can limit it using this limit products setting. There are some features here, quick shop, some aspects of the thumbnail, but we'll be covering those in a video addressing the collection, since this is really a piece of a collection page here on the homepage. So following along to our next section, which is the video, and this video has a banner. So we're going to go ahead and add this. It's going to autoplay the video, and it's going to start with volume, so it's probably going to distract me here a little bit. We're going to go ahead and add that section, and right away disable autoplay video so that it doesn't keep playing there. You've got your option of various video sources, YouTube, Vimeo, or HTML5, and then you can choose between a square or a 16:9 aspect ratio. You can have autoplay enabled. Autoplay will work on desktop devices or laptops, of course, but not on any mobile devices. Autoplay is not a feature of mobile devices. Auto loop video will begin the video again once it reaches its ending. You can have the heading that I'm about to enter here in this content area remain over the video as the video plays. And if that heading is to stand out, you may be interested in adding this darkening filter to the video. The video can be enabled by entering the YouTube or Vimeo link here, or if you're using an HTML5 video, you can add the MP4 URL or the OGV URL into these fields. This next area here is to add a banner image that will appear on top of the video, or in a sense before the video is triggered, which is the way that the demo is set up. So I've got this great preview banner, which looks something like this. And this banner has the same settings as a slideshow image or as a banner or a image with text overlay section would have, being a heading, a subheading, and then alignment options for the text and for the position. If you would like to indicate that this is a video, I would advise adding a play now button or a play video button here, which will, in a sense, trigger the video. If you go ahead and enter a link here instead, this will work like a banner as opposed to, like a banner link as opposed to triggering the video. So I would suggest leaving this blank and adding some kind of indication that there is a video to be played here. So then whenever you trigger it, there goes the video. All right, following along with our order of sections, after this video section, we have our Twitter sections. We'll go ahead and add the Twitter feed, which looks like this by default. Go ahead and add it here. This is where you would enter your Twitter username. I'm just going to keep it on the out of the Sandbox Twitter feed here. And you can add a custom title if you'd like. There is a space for a content page here beside the Twitter feed. I'm going to add this testimonials page. So that page is here on the platform. It looks a little something like this. This is the markup for it, but it's pretty straightforward. It's just bolded text and different paragraphs here. And this is how it renders. You can decide whether you'd like that on the left or the right of the Twitter feed. If you've got a dark background for this section, you can decide between the light or the dark theme for the Twitter feed itself. So as you see, this is dark, which would be for a dark background, versus light, which is for the light background. And here you can decide how many tweets you'd like to have appear in that section. After our Twitter section here, we've got our blog. We'll add section, blog posts. It's the default appearance. Go ahead and add that. You can change the heading. You can decide which blog we'd like to display, and then choose the number of posts. So I was showing you the features of a blog post a little bit earlier, and I made mention to the excerpt section. So as you see here, one of these links, one of these blog previews, does not have a section of text here, even though I'm sure that there's text in this actual blog post. The reason is because what appears on the homepage is the blog excerpt. So let's jump over here to blog posts and open up that blog post to make sure that we include an excerpt in it. So let's go ahead and copy a preview of the article and go down to this add excerpt link and add that text there. Go ahead and save that. So as I refresh that section, now that text will appear below the blog featured image. We can choose how many blog posts appear out of that blog. I know there's only 3 in there, so we'll keep it at 3. You can have the tags appear if your blog posts are tagged, and the author appear. But it's often in your interest to keep your homepage kind of neat and tidy and remove the details that aren't really that necessary for your homepage engagement. We can even remove that continue reading link with the understanding that clicking on any of these titles will lead to the actual blog post. Following our blog section, we have our Instagram section. So we'll go ahead and add the Instagram feed. And for the Instagram feed, you need a Instagram access token. To generate an access token, you can use this question mark link, which will open this window, generate the access token, copy the code that is generated, and then paste it into that setting. And then the Instagram feed appears. You can decide if you'd like to change the title here, and then the number of rows that appear. So depending on how many images you have in your feed, you can decide. We'll just keep it at 1 to match the demo. Here is the image with text overlay section. We'll go ahead and add that to the sequence of sections here and upload an image that I've pulled from the demo. This one here. And it's got very similar settings to a slideshow, where you can change the headline, subheading, position of the text, alignment of the text, and add a link button. That can go to any of your links within the shop, or it can go to any URL that you enter there. Now, it's not in the right sequence here, so we can just click and drag it to where we would like it to appear, which I believe is somewhere around here in our demo. And that looks great. So this is really followed along with the sections of the Sydney Sunglasses demo. If we go to our original shop here, this is the default appearance of the shop. We're going to go ahead and give it a refresh and see how it renders now with all of our sections properly configured. So now that we've taken a look at all of the sections included in the demo, let's take a look at the few sections that we haven't touched on yet. I'll just sort of enable them and disable them so that we continue to match the Sydney Sunglasses demo, but you can still get a preview of what that looks like. So there's this collection list section where you can choose some collections and in what order they appear here. I'm going to choose this new arrivals. And what it will do is it will pull the first product image available for that collection, unless the collection has its own featured image. And you would configure that here in Products, Collections, where you can add an image right to the collection. And that's the image that would be pulled into that section there. Along with that, you can change the number of collections per row that appear. You can adjust the title, and then whether or not you'd like the actual title of the collection and the product count to appear below the collection thumbnail. You can also choose to add your own image to associate with that collection right here in the content area. So there's really 3 ways of having an image added as a thumbnail for these collections. I'm just going to remove that section. Finally, here's the Featured Products section. And this is a way of featuring products directly on your homepage. And the content section here is where you choose the product that appears. I'm just going to have the one product appear for now. So this is pretty much like a product page that appears right on the homepage. You can decide whether you'd like a heading or not, or change the heading. I'm just going to remove it. If there are multiple products to display, you can stagger them left to right, where the description and image sections or areas will swap. You can have the vendor appear, or if you'd like, you can remove the product description entirely and just leave the images and add to cart button. You can change the position of the description as well if you're displaying it to appear above or below the add to cart button. So these are all settings that are similar to what you'll see on a product page, but apply to this section of the homepage. So thank you for following along as we created this version of a Mobilia 5.0 homepage using the Sydney Sunglasses demo. We've gone from a fresh upload of the theme to a highly customized version, and you can too using the new Shopify Sections feature. If you hit any snags or had any questions, head on over to support.outofthesandbox.com, where you will find a plethora of resources to help you out. My name is Sean Campbell. Thank you for joining me for this video. Take care.